I introduced the idea of immiserizing growth as the combination of trade and growth. When there is trade, growth could actually make a trading nation worse off. I used the idea that it's possible if you're exporting a product that is price inelastic, when you increase your quantity, the price is going to fall faster than the quantity is increasing, so your earnings are going to go down. Sometimes a colonizer would have several colonies producing the same product. When these countries became independent because they were stuck with a certain pattern of production and exports, that they tried to ramp up their production, their exports, and the prices fell faster than the quantities increased. And for the country that did not try to grow in this area, because the price was falling on a set quantity, their revenues are going down. And if you realize that you're becoming poorer because somebody else is flooding the market, you might decide that you're going to increase your quantity as well to recover some of your losses. Let there be a quantity being supplied such that Q is equal to 40 minus P. If there were two countries sharing the market, each producing 10, say, that the total quantity being produced was 20, we have a situation where the price is 20, the quantity is 20, each country is producing 10, so each country is earning 200. And as a consequence, if one country increases its output from 10 to 12, say, then that country would push the price down from 20 to 18 because of the nature of the demand curve. At a price of 18, a quantity of 12 gives a revenue of 216. So that country has improved its revenue from 200 to 216 by increasing its output 20%. Notice they've increased their revenue by 8%. But in the process, you've hurt the other country because they continue to produce 10, and 10 times 18 is 180. So you've reduced their revenue by 10%, while they've increased yours by 8%. You've gained less than they have lost. So the total revenues are now, instead of 400, the combined revenues are 396. So one country's gain comes at another country's loss, and the loss in the second country is greater than the gain in the first country. We have what I call a negative sum game. So when I aggregated the change in the income to these two countries, we go from an income of 400 to an income of 396. So the loss is 4, and once one country expands and hurts the other country, the second country has a desire to expand too because it wants to recover some of the lost income. So the second country expands from 10 to 12. Now both countries are producing 12. The total is 24. 24 from 40 is 16. So you notice the price is down to 16. But 12 times 16 is 192. So both countries are now going to earn 192. Both will be producing 12. So the total income would be 384, which is less than the 400 we started with. This is a prisoner's dilemma because both countries are worse off, but the idea of self-interest will lead us to that outcome because you can't trust the other guy. So notice that the first country can earn 216 by producing 12 or earn 200 by producing 10. Because 216 is greater than 200, the country will want to produce 12. Also notice that when the second country produces 12, so we're in the right-hand columns, over here, that when the second country is producing 12, the first country can stay at 10 and make 180, or expand to 12 and make 192. 192 trumps 180, so country 1 will produce 12. 216 trumps 200, so country 1 will produce 12. Because country 1 will choose to produce 12 under both states of nature, regardless of whether country 2 produces 10 or 12, producing 12 trumps producing 10, and we end up with a situation where country 1 is going to produce 12. The problem being symmetric, country 2 will also produce 12, so we can't really get out of this dilemma, this prisoner's dilemma. Both countries producing 10 at a price of 20 puts us at point A. One country expanding its production from 10 to 12 pushes the price down to 18, so we'll be at point B. And then when the second country, not shown here in this graph, expands its production, the demand curve is going to shift in so that the first country is going to be producing its 12 at a lower price of 16, so we're at point C.